Hello and welcome. I've just got back from the Great Western Brick Show in Swindon of all places, and what a Lego convention it was. I had absolutely no idea what to expect. It was packed full of amazing stalls. The actual last chance shop was huge. You have got thousands of minifigures to have a look at as well, going across all of the different bits and pieces, and there will be a separate video just for the shop slash all of the last chance stuff as well, because this video is so long. The file size of all of the stuff that I've got in front of me, well, it's 194 separate files I've now got to try and put together. So enjoy this. I'm going to put this together, and then you're going to watch what I'm about to put together. In the comments below, let us know what you think. Guys, if you were at the show, let me know if you were there. Let me know if your stall is there as well. I did my best to get everybody's details around, so make sure you give them a follow and everything on Instagram and all their social media accounts. Before we tuck into the actual video, there are still tickets available for the Sunday. So I'm trying to get this up, and it's going to be up as a late upload. So if you are watching it first thing in the morning because you're lazy in bed, get out and get to the show, obviously once you watch the video, because it really is worth it. There's loads and loads of things for the little ones and the big ones alike. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Write a load of comments below as you go. Let us know what your favourite models are and everything like that, and hopefully you enjoy. Right, it's a long one, but it should be a good one. I'm going to try and do this in one take as well, because it's an hour and 9 minutes long, and I cannot stop and then mess around. It just takes so long to put together. So where we are at is actually a place called Steam, which is in Bristol. No idea this existed. No idea there was a steam locomotive museum here, nor did I realise the scale of this place as well. So I've just gone through like the little ticket kiosk, and then we're just going to zigzag our way through to where the actual event starts. You've got about 3 or 4 minutes of this, of me just sort of zooming around, just having a quick look at some different bits and pieces, and then the remaining hour and 5 minutes is all to do with Lego. It is unbelievable the size of this convention. Now also, this does not include the huge shop that you have at the end. I mean, the size of that room with all of the minifigures has to go in its own separate video, just because this file size is so big, and at least if you just wanted to watch that by itself, you don't have to skip all of this, and it'll be easy enough for you to see. Now, I was amazed by, as you walk around, how it just kept going and going and going with regards to just, there was room after room after room. It's pretty cool because they've got all the tables in front of a lot of these museum pieces, and then all of a sudden it opens up into this massive room where you have all sorts of different bits and pieces. And then there was some raffles being given away, and then I thought, oh, that'd be it. And then there's a place you can sit down and grab to eat. Then I thought that was it, and then you actually hit the main shop as well. Now the shops themselves, and a little shop that we'll have a look at on the way through, they've got all of the older giveaway purchases, and obviously some of the exclusive Lego store openings as well, which is always really nice to see. We've got about another minute of this, so if you really are into your Steam bits and pieces, I think this might be a place for you. I think it was just quite nice to have a quick look at it and just zoom our way through. And at least if you are thinking of coming the following day, if you are watching this in time, at least you know which way to go, because a lot of people from the car park were getting a little bit confused, but it was easy enough. You literally walk straight through the car park, you go straight to the outlet, you go straight to this building, turn left, go straight through. If you have to book your ticket online, take a screenshot of the email that they send you. They'll send you a reference number, and then you can just show that to the people behind the desk. They then give you a ticket, and then off you go and in you come. But I went straight from the actual counter, whereas I think if you just turn right, you'll actually hit the shop first. But I didn't know that was an option because you can't actually see it from where you get the ticket from. So I just sort of looped round. This is huge, and there is a lot more to see, but I did take a huge chunk of this out. So I have sort of chopped this up a little bit, so at least it gives you a little bit of an understanding of where you're going. And then when we get to the actual convention, I've cut a lot of the other bits out where it zigzagged around, just because it was actually, well, a massive file, and didn't really expect it to be over an hour long. I know it's filming for a long period of time, and I know there's a lot of bits and pieces to see, but no wonder I ran out of 4 different GoPro batteries, and I ended up finishing on my phone because I completely ran out of bits and pieces, which is the first ever time that's happened to me. So I'm now going to have to order some more batteries before I go away again, because 1 or 2 of them are actually duff as well, which is never a good thing. But at least I found out here rather than abroad, and then I got sort of stuck when we're walking around a foreign Legoland theme park or something like that. But you can see the size of these locomotives and just all the different bits and pieces that you can have a look at. Now we are in and we are away, so you can see it says this way. looping it around, and then all of a sudden it starts off with some absolutely magnificent models. So like I said, you've got the backdrop of the trains, and then you're going to have a different bit where you can have a look at all of the different bits and pieces, and you can actually walk under that train. I did walk under the train and I filmed it, but I was under there for a good couple of minutes. I've taken that bit out. Now you have got models like this which are outstanding, so it's almost like our museum piece to start with, like you will have at the Lego house. There is probably as many Lego models that we're about to have a look at now as what you would do in all of the glass cabinets combined at the Lego house and more. You've got huge builds like this, you've got smaller builds, you've got loads and loads of different Marvel ones, you've got medieval ones, you've got huge pirate scenes as well. So if you're after any ideas whatsoever for your own Lego display, I think you might be able to get it from here. Like I said, was amazed what I was walking into. Now, it's going to be a little bit choppy because obviously there is lots and lots of people around. It's a very, very busy place to be. It was a really nice atmosphere as well. So loads and loads of people taking photos, everybody being super, super respectful. But you can see that took over 600 hours and it cost, well, it says estimated 75 to 1,000 pieces used on that. So it is a very, very large castle. Now, the amazing thing is when I actually stopped and spoke to quite a lot of the different people is how they managed to transport it in their vans and cars without breaking the bits and pieces. There was one or two accidents, so some of the people were actually repairing different bits and pieces on this, because this was filmed first thing on the Saturday morning, because some people might have still been setting up, because I think by the sounds of it, they could have got there either Thursday night or Friday, and then it was open on the Saturday or Sunday, from what I can gather. If you're watching this, let me know, because like I said, I booked the ticket in the morning. I drove an hour, I turned up, I had no idea what to expect. I just took the batteries that were left and fully charged from my trip from Canada. So I am heavily jet lagged at the moment. My eyes do feel like they're about to fall out my face. But we did it, and I'm glad we did, and it was a really, really nice Saturday. I'm looking forward to going to another one. Now, this is a yearly thing here over in Swindon, and apparently they have an even bigger one in Manchester as well, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. But I think you can see the amount of detail that are in all of these models, and probably can now understand why this video is so long, because everything that we look at is this detailed or more. I like what they've done with all the different sort of bits of water. Some of them are big tiles, some of them have just dropped on. There are a lot of Easter eggs with regards to like odd minifigures. So you can see some Disney ones sort of just dotted in there. Now what they did is they did a lot of the people, sort of the people that had the stores and stuff, did a can you spot a minifigure, which I thought was a really, really nice thing. So the little ones, it made you look and have a look around. So there was just the odd minifigure, and some of them, some people had actually sellotaped to the table 4 or 5 sort of CMF minifigures, and then you had to hunt them down, and they were hidden within, so they made you look everywhere. Now, I spotted the ducks quite late. There we go. So those ducks, I think, were a really, really nice touch. I don't think I've actually seen those. I think, actually, those ducks must be from one of the fairground amusement bits. Now, speaking of the fairground amusement bits and pieces, like I said, with regards to what we will be having a look at probably in the next 10 minutes, where somebody had one of these tables, they did have some giveaway purchases from when the store openings from the Lego gifts. There was all sorts of different bits and pieces, and the prices actually I thought were very, very good. Now, like I said, the main shop itself, that will be in a separate video, but I have added on some little bits so you know exactly what's going to be coming in the next upload from here. It's just two videos, this massive one, and then you've got the smaller one. Now, I have done my very, very best to film every single person's hashtag or Instagram handle or YouTube channel, just because it was the nice and the correct thing to do. If I missed where the bit of paper was, it's just because there was lots of people stood there, so I do apologise if you're watching this back. So please feel free just to write a comment with the timestamp of where your stand is, and then at least people can jump to that bit and they know it belongs to you. Now, I have seen already lots of these bits and pieces that we're looking at all shoot up on Instagram. And there you go, look, so you can see, can you find these? So they did this for the big Duplo. This was one of the bigger Duplo. In fact, it probably was the biggest Duplo display there. And then when we get around the corner into the huge area, which I did not anticipate whatsoever, there is some amazing train displays in there as well. So there are some huge Lego displays, but this was very, very impressive. Now, if you eyeball it, there's some much older sets, some newer sets. I can see an Emmet up there with some dogs and some other little bits and pieces as well. And obviously that tunnel's very, very tight for the trains to go around, but there's no accidents. You can see a Wild Style underneath there. So I've seen Wild Style, I've seen Emmet. I think I saw the Santa as well. There's Winnie the Pooh. So it's good bit of fun just to stop. It's a little bit easy to see them in Duplo because obviously the Duplo is so much bigger, whereas obviously with the Lego ones you can hide them very, very well. Yes, that was a Woody. There is Father Christmas and Mrs. Claus, and then you do have Thomas the Tank, Percy, Toby, James, and a couple of the others as well. I don't recognize the silver one. I'm not too sure. I don't recognize the silver one, and I can never remember the name of the diesel locomotive. So let me know if you're a Thomas the Tank Engine fan. Now moving on again, if you're a fan of pirates, this is for you. It is huge. Again, really nice detail with regards to all the bits and pieces on the floor. You've got some really nice tiles and sharks. I think this is the one, as we loop it around, that has a custom pirate out the front. And I think it's somewhere that you can build, buy and build from one of the stalls, I think. So that is something that if you are thinking of getting, the shop will be up there somewhere. And I do believe you can order some of those different bits and pieces online. So have to keep your eyes peeled for that. I think it's that thing that we're looking at just now, I think, because these are slightly larger models that are obviously custom built. I think you can pick these up because there'll be a box somewhere as we scoop down. I did like the look of this. I thought that was a really, really smart thing because obviously you have got the pirate version of that. So that is what you could have bought. So it was the Imperial Soldier. It was all custom artwork, custom instructions. I think it was a good price point as well. And obviously, if you are into that kind of thing, you are available to find that online. So if you just type in the Imperial Soldier, it will pop up and it will take you directly to the shop. And I think where the shop is, just behind this table, you'll be able to see it on the barcodes and things like that. But this is one of the first ever displays that I've seen with oversized models. So it's something, again, completely different rather than using the minifigure models. Everything's much larger, like the pirate, for example, and the parrot and everything that you see like that. And it's just in a much larger scale. I think it looks very, very effective, like the cannonballs, like the cannon. And then you've got all the nice little bits of detail, like the rockery, and you've got all the flowers and plants and everything dotted all over the sides. And then it's just oversized trees and all the shrubbery. And yes, she does have a massive pair of cakes there. And then as you come round, you can see that there is a rather large vinyl player as well. So that, I think that is the name of the person that is doing this one. And this, again, looks very, very smart. So this is to do with the first flight. And then as we come up, you can see just the detail that's in the floor. It looks like there's not much there, but there's a huge amount of effort that goes involved just in that sand, just adding that tiers and levels and layers. And then you've got the really gorgeous detail on that roof as well. And the lighting in certain places did do some of the sets more justice than others. And then obviously when you've got the really nice backdrops of all the trains and everything as we loop around. So it was almost lucky dip where everybody set up, but I think it flows really nicely. I think I came in probably the better way because it just got busier and busier and there was more to see. So you could soak in all the huge models where you could walk around all the tables to start with. And then all of a sudden you ended up in a massive room. And then you hit the shop and then you had your exit. So I'm sure I did go the right way around. Probably didn't, but I'm sure in my own mind, I think I did. Now, you've got all these much smaller builds as well. Now, obviously, you know that the effort involved in the smaller ones is just as much, if not more, than the bigger ones, just because of how difficult they are. And you know yourself when you're trying to do tiles and minifigures and just get the detailing right, it is not the easiest thing to do. Now, I'm sure as we go around, you're going to recognize certain individuals' handles from their Instagram and YouTube channel. I did do my best to try and speak to a couple of different people, but the ones that I do also stalk and follow on social media were not there, or they were super, super busy. So I just left them to it. So I wasn't ignoring anybody when I walked around, but then at the same time, nobody knows who I am either. So it doesn't really matter. Love the texture and tiling on that roof. I've never seen a roof done like that before, but I really do like the straw effect. So I think that's a really nice looking thatched roof. And obviously with the thatched roofs in with the medieval scene, it's easy enough to make it look like they've set on fire as well, because that is something obviously that they can do very, very easily. But you have got all of this amazing detail just in these little villages and things. So hopefully you're getting some ideas, just with little things like that. So you've got the little battle scene with all the little circular sort of tents as well. And then you've got the different variations of the buildings and the different types of roofs. And we are still in, I would say, zone 1 of 4, I would imagine. So the models they get, I think as we go around, the models actually do get bigger, which is scary and terrifying. So you've got these teeny tiny ones, but again, take forever to put together. So you can see, you can scan me. You're going to recognize that hashtag up on there. So that's Heidi Toys. So she has done an amazing job with the other two chaps on the stand, and it looks incredible. So how they got that transported, I don't know. We do go back, don't worry. It was just so busy at that table. I came over to this side, did the run of all these trains, then I went back over to the other side. Everybody disappeared from the table, but it meant that I could also have a look at the model in much greater detail, which is always really, really nice to see. Now, again, lots and lots of trains and tracks going around. It's something just smart to see. And then I do like the fact how you've got all the different bits and pieces with regards to the diggers and things like that. And then in a couple of different rooms, they've all added on different bits. So this one has like a much more of a smaller city, more of an under construction look. Obviously, I think that's got to be 1, 2, 3, that's probably 4 tables in length, plus 2 tables deep, so that's got to be 8 tables in total. That is one very large area that's taking up. And then the next one, if I do manage to go down in a straight line, we come to a really gorgeous Avengers display where they've had a huge endgame battle, and then you've also got the big Avengers tower, and you've got all the different scenes and everything from the Marvel bits and pieces, which I think looks really, really smart. Now you can see there, it was also the subway. There was a subway set or subway construction set underneath, which did look very, very smart indeed. And then you've got all this texture and everything all on the sides, and you've got all these tunnels going underneath. It's just something very, very nice to see. And again, I'm just amazed by how many people were here and how they got them here without it being broken up. So there we go. The table has cleared off ever so slightly. This display was extremely impressive. The amount of minifigures and everything that was involved in this, and how they got all the texture and everything in the water, it's incredible. But there she is, Heidi Toys, and then you've got Slim Jim Lego. So give them a scan. I think you can pause it and scan on all 3 of those, I think, and then you can have a look, see all the different bits and pieces. I would imagine it would take you directly to their own social media. So like I said, I tried to do that for everybody where they had them, and then I tried to speak to whoever I could. It was nice to speak to a good couple of people, and when we get to one of the stands, they were lovely. So make sure you go and follow those as well, and they have just got themselves a nice new Rivendell set. So I'll let you know when we get to that table, and I'll embarrass them as we go. But look at the detail in all of these trees. You've got all the texture. I love the little bits of the pigs, and then it's just, there's everything and everything going on. This is something that you would see in the museum section of the Lego house behind the glass cabinet. Without a shadow of a doubt, that is the detail that they've got within this. There is so much going on. It is mental. They actually had to transport this in almost like a custom thing that they had to build so it doesn't get broken. Well, I didn't realise it was actually all modular as well, which is another really, really clever thing. So a lot of them are modular. They all come apart, and then it sounds easy enough. Then you can just put it back together again. But the fact that they got it back together, and what I don't think is coming through on the camera is the floor's not level. So as you know, with wonky tables and non-adjustable legs, it's an absolute nightmare because things don't end up lining up because one table's slightly higher than the other. So the fact that they've hidden that so well is insane. But you've got all of these really nice cut bits in the back of the rock work, which I think always looks nice. I'm amazed that people have the skill to do that kind of thing. I can't even dream of doing anything like this. But there are a lot of Harry Potter figures dotted within. So again, this was a lot where a lot of the games were being played, where you could try and spot everybody dotted inside all of these. It's just something nice we could spend a lot of time. Now, this is a teeny tiny section, but there you go, you're £30 for that sort of giveaway. And then as we come up and round, you've got some of the little creator sets. You've got the Boba Fett. There's the Imperial Soldier that you can buy. I think that was £16. That's not too bad. And then as we're coming through and round, I generally thought, oh, this is it. I thought this was the size of the shop. I thought what we were looking at the moment, I thought these are all the big models. And then it would just sort of loop round to the exit. And there we go. Nice 20-minute look around, worth the drive. So there we go. You've got the two shops underneath. Little did I know, this is literally just the warm-up to the thousands of sets that are available to buy at the other end, let alone all of the other sets that we're going to be having a look at as we go around. That's why this video is so long. So we are at the Avengers Assemble bit. Town Hall, lots of modulars. You have got the beautiful Emporium on the right-hand side. I need that set. I need that in my life. You got the Daily Bugle all lit up, and then you got the custom Avengers Tower. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what the new tower looks like. So this is filmed before anything has been released for the new tower. And if you know about the new modular, are you excited? Let me know. If you don't know, I won't spoil it for you. It's all rumours at the moment, but the images won't be too long, I don't think. And I am very much looking forward to that. But these displays are brilliant. So we've got the one outside the Daily Bugle. This has given me some ideas, actually, because this is what I want to do within my own superhero section. But you can see how you've got the Fire Brigade on the left. I'm missing that one in my life. And then you have, looks like you've got Sesame Street right at the end. And then you've got the bookshop at the far end as well. And then you've got all the custom tiles, the row plates on the left. And then I think they're just the 16 by 16 rows I think you can buy, but have added in the tan on the outside, which sort of makes it look really, really smart. These are all the different brick shows that everybody's been to over the time. Not been to a single one, which is embarrassing, but they look incredible. Now, the next scene, as we come over, I do believe is the end game scene where you've got all the different scenes. So let me know what you can spot, let me know what you can see, let us know what your favourite bit is from this display here, because you've got Captain America with his broken shield, you've got all the different sort of portals where everybody's coming through. I think the newer and older Avengers Endgame has been used in this for the minifigures and the vehicles, so you'll be able to spot those. But then you've got Thanos, you've got Thor led down, you've got Iron Man sort of passed away down at the bottom just there, so that's obviously, you know what happens with that without any spoilers. You can see you've got Thor's armor down on the floor. There's the car, that's why I know it's from one of the sets, unless that's a custom build. And then you've got them about to sort of battle on the inside. So there's lots of different bits and pieces going on within this, and then you can see everybody breaking through. So it does look very, very smart. I've always said I'd love to do a sort of much smaller variation of an endgame battle for my amusement / theme park area, just as almost like a show. So if I can make this on a teeny tiny scale, on like a maybe 232 by 32 base plates, I would be very, very happy. So we're still in the first zone, and we're having a look at these little bits and pieces, which is on the opposite side. So you've got the train as the backdrop on here. So a lot of these tiles, it probably isn't coming through clearly enough. It might do when you watch it on a big screen, but I can't change the file format that I'm looking at it in. Some of them on the white tiles will have the writing what they are. Some of them will just say artist unknown. The size of the actual figures that you're looking at now is pretty much the same size as what they have at the Legoland parks as well. So that is how they build those figures at the Legoland parks, which I think do look very, very effective. So some of these obviously got really, really bright colours, and then others you've got the slightly darker greens, you've got the nice painting with the 3D leaf effect on the front, and it just is an effective two-tiered thing. What I do like is obviously you've got the little portraits on either side. I think that might be a smaller variation of a set that is actually out. So they've made it as a smaller patch set. Now the reason why we've gone back to this is you now got a place to spot the difference, because apparently a little un had tidied everything up. And now I went back and I can't really tell what the difference is between what we were looking at, but he moved loads of stuff. So if you can see what was moved, then obviously let us know. But luckily I went back because I did not realise that you had all of the buildings around this way, and you got a better look at the Avengers Tower, and you had all the detail on the inside. So everything is packed full of detail, and then you've got low-key up at the top just there. So it is very much a case of you just need to stop, soak it all in, and see what's what. Now, I think I need a turntable, because I've seen it in Canada, thanks to Saturday Out, and I've now also seen it here. So I think these will be very, very handy for unboxing videos, and it just looks very, very effective. So this is the Wednesday house. The Wednesday minifigure looks brilliant, and I think she's playing is it the violin or something along those lines on there? That's not a violin, is it? Is it cello? Something. You let me know. And then I think it's a cello. I'm sure it's a cello. And then you have got all of Miss Piggy and all those minifigures in there, and you've got all these little sort of smaller micro scenes as we're coming through. Some of them are packed full of minifigures, not so much for some of them. But again, if you know what it's from, it'll all be from the Muppets. So they're all different scenes from the Muppets. Doctor Who was very, very popular here as well. The Muppets were very, very popular. So each sort of table had almost its own theme. So this looks brilliant, just with all the gold and all of the other characters within it. So I think all of these are the CMFs. Now, the amazing thing about actually the CMFs is that you could buy full sets of CMFs in the shop, and this was one of them. I think it was like £80 for the full pack, and I did see the Sesame Street a set. I've not got it in my collection. I was tempted to pick it up, but I passed on it because I got some other little bits and pieces which I will share with you when the time is right, when it comes to actually getting the shop side of things uploaded. So we're about to jump to the next table, I do believe, now. And we have got the bit of Star Trek, and then we have this huge Technic set. So we loop it around. I think, again, if you pause it, scan it, you'll be able to use the QR code and it'll take you directly to that person's page, because obviously it's very, very clever, the QR code being built out of Lego, and I'm sure it still works if you've got the app on your phone. So more than welcome to give it a try. On here, it just gives you the details of what everything is with regards to the trailer, where it comes from, and then up and through, you've got all of these little bits and pieces with regards to just all the shops and all of the events, and I can see the Legoland one just there as well. And then this one is Chernobyl, I think this one said, from 1970. So this was all to do with the Chernobyl bits and pieces. That did look very, very effective. And then you have, again, some more Technic bits. And then you've got the Discovery, the Land Rover just on there. Now, again, you've got to walk through the museum to get to the next bit. So that's why I added so much bits and pieces into the first one. So we're almost there. I do believe it's Star Wars we're going to start on, just to the left here. So here we go. You've got loads and loads of Star Wars stuff to come. This was a very, very popular scene and thing in this convention, as you can fully well imagine. You've got loads and loads of different ships, and then when we go round, there'll be some custom colours, custom ships. Any of your favourites, type them up, let us know, and let us know what your favourite theme is as well, because obviously some of them will be just done with slightly different colours. I really like this build with regards to just having all the tables and chairs, almost like an old school diner in that one. And then you've got all of the different vehicles on the back. And then I think we move on to a huge pirate bit, and then after that we've got some custom corner modulars, I think that's what we're about to have a look at. So with this one, you can see there it is. So it is pirates. So lots and lots of detail within the pirate. Look at the treasure cove just underneath. Again, have that in your display. It is a massive, but it would look absolutely fantastic. Just passing the time with regards to waiting for everybody to move. That is what is directly behind me. So the table is directly behind me. That is the size of the room that we're in for this section. And now we're back to the other side of the same display that we're looking at. And now we can have a look-see and see what is what. So they're talking about the different bits and pieces that inspired this set. And then you can see all the different bits and pieces and how amazing this is. Love all the minifigures that have been added, and obviously all the buildings. It's just the detail everywhere with all the bits and pieces that are on the roof and all the trees. And again, they are all on a huge scale. So you've got to remember that all of these have to come apart. They've then got to get taken home. I would imagine if we're getting close to the end of the 2023 season, that a lot of this might get broken down, ready for something completely different for next year. Because I don't know what else there is coming in the 2023 season. I don't know if some people actually take these further afield and they manage to try and take these on a plane, but I did speak to one or two people and they said they actually have just recently come back from Billund and they've been trying to repair some of the different bits and pieces that they had on show over there. So it is incredible to see. Now this is almost like the custom corner is what I'm going to say, because you've got a couple of different custom bits and pieces. So it's just, we'll go back to that one because it was just so busy. That I really liked. I like the Stormbreaker. And then as we come over, you've got these custom builds just here. Both of those look really smart. And then look at these. You've got the Tesserite, which looks fantastic lit up. That would look at an amazing display piece. Then you've got Loki just above the top. Then you've got War Machine and Spidey for the really nice oversized helmets. And then again, this is where they've shown off at with all of these different tiles. They've gone to a lot of different places in 2023. I'm ashamed that it's my first show. Up house with the correct amount of balloons. So they've just added lots and lots of balloons and they've kept the up house exactly the same and they've just put it on a little stand. That looks super effective. That up house at the moment in a local toy shop in the UK called Smith's has about £20 knocked off it at the moment. So if you've been sat on the fence on that one because you're not happy with the volume of balloons that it comes with, you can now spend the money saved on the Lego website and get yourself loads of balloons to make it look absolutely fantastic. Again, pause it for the QR code and it will take you straight to this creator's creations. Now, going back to the custom corner, you can see all of these are just different bits and pieces with regards to different mocks that they've used different bits and pieces from. Now I did overhear the designer say that he will always build the sets up first, strip them apart, then he will custom build them after. So it's always a really, really nice, interesting thing to how people interpret different bits and pieces. Now the brick pods, these guys and girls were here, they had these. Now I just literally was filming this and I went to come back to say hello and they weren't sat at their table. So If you do catch this part of the video, guys, I did come and say hello, but you weren't there. But it did look absolutely fantastic. So it's, again, massive display. How they've managed to get all of this over on the amount of table area that they took up, I do not know. Now, the stand beside it was all Doctor Who based. I'm sorry to the guys that were there. That was a really, really popular stand and a popular time that I was there. So I did my best to get as much as possible, but I wasn't at that stand a huge amount of time. And again, as I tried to come back, it was always busy round in this corner. But they got a really, really nice backdrop with regards to just all the different bits and pieces that you can see. I think it looks really, really smart. And obviously all of the Lego in front looks absolutely fantastic as well. So I think we're now onto the Doctor Who side. So this you might have to pause on, because you've got all the different Doctors, I do believe, in the one display case. You've got the different TARDISes, and then you've got the different scenes from different movies, films and TV shows and all that kind of nonsense, all over the place. So there was a lot of custom bits and pieces going on this, and I think they did look brilliant as well. Again, QR code if you need it, and then you've got just the different famous scenes. It goes over my head though, I've not seen any of them, I'm not going to lie, but it did look fantastic. And you can see all of these down on this side as well, which also looked absolutely stunning. Now, as we come through and round, we can see you've got all of these different bits and pieces as well, which looks beautiful. So in here we have got more of the actual Doctor Who, so we're still at the same stall. We are about to move on very, very briefly and quickly, so you can see that there's more to see. There's a load of robots signs underneath, and I wasn't 100% sure what that was until I actually walked into the very last room and saw that there was a huge Lego Robot Wars stand where they'd actually come into this sort of room but up a flight of stairs, and they would end up battling each other. So it's like a big battle box, which is a pretty cool thing to listen to and sort of try and catch and watch at the same time. So there's loads and loads, and there's loads of Lego pieces just getting smashed and destroyed absolutely everywhere. Now, this was a really, really interesting thing, because what he had done, he had set this up exactly the same as how it would do in real life, and then would also try and get the signals to work the same way as that they would do in real life as well. So there's loads and loads of detail, and he was actually comparing the bits and pieces from where he was to the stuff that you could actually see around this way, which was, again, a really, really nice thing to see. You've got to walk past all of these amazing bits and pieces. Don't forget, they are everywhere because we are in a massive museum, so they're dotted all over the place as we move on to the next sort of row of stands and stalls. Now, there was some really, really nice bits and pieces that we're about to have a look at, and then we get into sort of where everything is. It's really hard to explain till you see it yourself, but there's just a lot to see. Right, so the camera shake has stopped. I'm not sort of bouncing around everybody, and now we are here. So you can see you have the old school base plate. This is one long display. There's a train track above the top, it goes over a bridge, and you had to vote for your best bit. So I think each bit was 32 by 32. Loads and loads of different bits and pieces within that. It looked fantastic as well. I think my favourite one has to be the Batman. And I said that to the guy, and I spoke to the chap here from a while, but you can see it says Stevenage up at the top, so that's a real nice thing. The Stevenage sign made it as well, because I think they did have a problem with this with regards to the train. I think his words were the train needed a haircut to get under the bridge. So you can see that you've got this amazing bridge. There's a train that goes through it. It does fit. I also do like the sort of Christmas winter display as well, but you can vote for your best section. Again, QR code, let everybody know what you think is your most favorite one as well. But for me, when we get to the Batman side of things, I think that is the best one for me. But yeah, that train was very, very close to the bridge, so I think they had to quickly take one or two of it down just to squeeze through. So that's a massive effort. So again, there's just little bits and pieces like that, because what you've got to remember is a lot of people will get together to build these displays up, and then they put them together on site. So if something did go off, literally off by a stud, then it doesn't matter because they can quickly repair it. Now, this I really did like as well. This is the stand beside it, and then we will carry on looking at the bridge because loads of people stood there. So you've got the big pumpkin, you've got these sort of custom heads, then you've got these amazing cranes. You can see the two of these just here. Then there's the one in front, and then you've got a really, really nice sort of display of larger figures. So you with regards to the multicoloured rainbow set of all the different minifigures, they had made them in a slightly larger scale, and it looked really, really effective. So we'll be having a look at that in a second. Again, you've got the multicoloured space people as well. That looks smart. But then you've got the brickheads. That's what it was. So you've got all the different colours of the brickheads. They look really nice, but if you look underneath the brick heads, they all have different detail as well. So the yellow, obviously the purple, and all the silver and everything, they've all got different elements underneath it. And then you've got the little baby blue space person as well, which looks really, really smart. And then you have this thing just there as well, which again is like a micro scale version. So it's all really, really nice. So we're back to the bridge, back to the Stevens sign, and then we're carrying on this side. Some of them were empty, some of them you can see they were under construction. So I'm not 100% sure if this was a case of every single person had the opportunity to do it. They made it at a certain length, and then people sent down their bits and pieces for this. That's why it's a vote, and some of them were just left empty with flowers and things underneath. But I think the flowers did look really, really effective. And then as we get over to this side, you can see they've actually put the space right next to the Batman, and very, very kindly, when I started to speak to him, he started to make this move. So this thing looked brilliant as well, because it all moved around. So it had a Technic piece on the back. You've got the sort of like little pencil case with all of the older Batman symbols, and then you've got all of these cards as well. And you can see he comes over. He's really, really, really nice of him. So you can see how that thing works. And then after I filmed this little segment, I must have spoken to the gentleman for about 15-20 minutes, which was just a really nice thing with regards to how the train needed a haircut and all the other little bits and pieces like that. But now as we're coming through and down, what else do we have on this bit? Is there anything else that catches your eye before we cut and move on to the next bit? So there are some CMF minifigures in this section, as you can see. I think that is another Doctor Who TARDIS. Don't forget, they are everywhere. Doctor Who, I didn't realise, is massively popular in the Lego community. I had no idea whatsoever. So now we're moving on to the next section. So you've got more trains. That's a pretty good looking floor. We'll go up the steps. Like I said, I'm not cutting some of these out. Some of the files I've just dropped and dragged and hope for the best, because by the time this gets uploaded, it's going to be very, very late. But the trains look stunning. So well, look at this. This is amazing. So you've got Superman, wrap it round into the Batman. I would love that on my wall, over my superhero display. I think that would look incredible. Well, it does look incredible. I think it'll work really, really well. And then you've got a huge Indiana Jones as well, which again looks brilliant with all of his whip and his other weapons and everything. That was a really, really good size scale. And you can see the actual minifigure just on his foot. So that's how big that thing is. And then you've got all of these custom display pieces of the different scenes from the film. These are sort of almost like a very, very popular size. Lots of people building these up within this size and sort of putting these walls and backdrops behind them. And again, it just looks effective, packed full of all sorts of detail, lots of different minifigures, and lots of really, really nice colours. And then as we come around, you will then, I think we see a hybrid of the action figure and a brickhead combined, which works. It's one of those things that I never thought would work, and it looks brilliant. And I wish I thought of it, and I wish I actually did it, because I think they look better as a display piece with the larger head on and the action figure body. But when we get there, you'll see what I mean. What we've had to do, we've had to jump across a couple of tables before we come back. Like I said, it's one of those where certain tables at certain times are very, very busy. You just got to go with the flow. Now, with regards to talking of flow and timings, if you are thinking of trying to book your ticket, there are different slots when you can enter, so it staggers the people walking through so everybody gets an enjoyable experience. But obviously everybody wants the first slot in the morning. So I got here about 11:30 because the 10, 10:30 and 11 o'clock slots had all gone. And I think everybody that was doing the trade bits and pieces actually got all of the very hard to find limited edition Lego sets before the doors had even opened. And apparently there was a Winter Village display set that went first thing in the morning, and it was the market, which I've been after for ages. It's the market stall, and also I'm after the winter cottage. I think both of them might have been there, and the newer one was the one that was available. So I missed out on those. So like I said, that's all to come in a completely different bit, and you have got a sneak peek of that at the end of this. Now I think this is obviously that is the castle, but I think that is the alternate build if you bought 3 different sets. So I think that's how many sets you need. So £270 plus the instructions, and that will be yours, because it's £90 a set. Now you have got the coming soon, the Nightmare Before Christmas, and that is what this looks like, or the mock of what this looks like, because this looks huge. So I don't know how big the actual Lego Ideas set is going to be, but it does look very, very good. So I think this is an oversized scale of what Lego will end up creating as their next idea set. Now look, the Batman with the big head, that looks incredible. I think that looks much better than the actual Batman, and I think the heads look better on those bodies. So I like that. I really like the Venom. I like what they've done with all the green and everything coming down. I should have thought of it. I didn't, and I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't think that that would work. How they've managed to do that, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure somebody would let me know because of how the ball pins and everything are connected on that. Now, I spoke to this gentleman for a good while as well. Some of them don't have social media. Some of them don't have their own Instagram page. They are all linked to the event's Facebook page, though, so obviously you can hunt down the individual with regards to if you want to speak to them on there. Now, what we're about to have a look at, or what we are currently looking at, is obviously a massive subway station, and you can see it's the Bionicle Gardens on the back. Now, the next bit that we're about to have a look at is actually the piece that goes on top, and then you've got to imagine it all together because it is enormous. So all of these sort of tables, seating area, all these little bits and pieces with regards to how you go to the ticket office, they're individual pieces that all clip on, and then you can see through and round. So you can see you've got all the technic pins, top, middle and bottom, but it's all been stripped down so we can see it much, much better. It was huge. So that's what it would look like if it was all clipped together with the roof, and then you wouldn't actually be able to see all the bits and pieces on the middle. I think it took the gentleman a huge amount of time to do, and I really, really liked it. And also what I really appreciated is the map that we're about to have a look at now. So there's loads and loads of Easter eggs in with this. So you're going to have to sort of pause it, spot it and hunt it down if you want to see all the different bits and pieces. But you can see that you've got the different networking, you've got the Lego City Electric Railways, well, W with an R then, so I'll try again. Lego City Electric Railways in 1905. And then as you're coming down, you've got all the other little ones as well. And then if you were to pause it, they would have all sorts of different names in, which I think does look pretty cool. But you can see Underbrick, and then you've got all the other little short line, and you've got the Brickadilly line underneath there. There's just things like that, and the amount of effort that goes into creating the underground, but changing all the names to Lego different bits and pieces under the different years as well, I think is absolutely incredible. So again, pause it, read it. The guys did a phenomenal job with all of this. And then we're moving on to the next display. So now we are in the next room, and it is huge. So the size of this room that we're about to have a look at is absolutely massive. Once we've got past this little bit and we're about to go to the next bit, I will add in just how large this room is from up top so you can just see how big it is, and then we'll just carry on having a look at all of the fantastic displays. But we're already 40 minutes in, so we're not doing too bad, so hopefully you're enjoying it so far. But like I said, we have got a lot of good bits and pieces to have a look at, and there we go. So don't forget to pause it, write down anything that you like, and then go and hunt them on their own social media platform as well, because obviously a lot of these are all custom bits. In fact, they are all custom different bits and pieces. Some of them I really, really do like, that one especially. I wish I actually did end up getting that in the larger form when it was out, but I didn't. So again, it is what it is. But you have got probably a good 1,000 of these to have a look at now, and we'll just sort of pan through a lot of the tables as we go. Couldn't stop for a huge amount of time just because of each stall and the traffic was continuously moving, but I really did enjoy just trying to soak all of this in, just seeing some of the larger models. And check this out. This is it. This is the main room that I didn't even think existed. Then there's another room, and then there's where you go to the shops. There's so many tables with all of these amazing displays. I love the classic Batman, and I really like these. So you've got Batman and Robin, then you've obviously got the Avengers team, but then you've got the Star Wars people, and then I think that's Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and somebody else. And then you've got the Mickey Mouse pieces, and Winnie the Pooh is there. I think that was Pinocchio might have been in that one as well. Who had the purple trousers? That's going to bug me. And then you've got the even smaller versions where it looks like you've got the A-Team, and then you've got the Back to the Future car, and then you've got all of these models coming across the back. So you've got the little boats, you've got some Indiana Jones bits and pieces. So you've got the micro ones for the Biddy Indie, so the teeny tiny ones. And then I really like the Pokemon bits and pieces, and then you've got the Mario stuff. I think that's Zelda as well. And then around the front, then you've got the larger variations of the Star Wars stuff. But again, amount of time and effort, like this, for example, of just building this huge cube and just getting it there. You've got, I would imagine, I think they're in the process of building a stand. So I'm not too sure what they were doing on that, but it looked really, really impressive where that was. Moving on to the next table, you've got this. So you've got more Star Wars. loads and loads of Star Wars. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, well, this is for you. Now, these guys were fantastic. I followed these on social media as well. They have just managed to pick themselves up the Rivendell set, which was hidden underneath the table. So they're going to go back and be building that sooner rather than later. So hunt them down on their Instagram page and hopefully they'll keep us all up to date with all of that kind of stuff. I will also tag these guys in the description as well for their Instagram page, because I don't know if it will link it directly, so you might have to copy and paste it into your own Instagram. But there they are. So bricking it together on, amazing people. So really, really nice to speak to them for a good amount of time. So I actually went back round for a second loop and just spoke to them for a good little while. Really, really friendly people, which is what the community is all about. Now, moving on to this thing, Danger Mouse. Still got the t-shirt of this one. I've had this t-shirt for ages and ages. There was a lot of artwork around, which I thought was really, really nice. And then you got bits and pieces like this, where I think that is the Disney Studios. I think that's what that's supposed to be. It is on the left-hand side, which looked amazing. And then as we walk down, again, this table and this display is huge. You've got a princess of each thing on a 32 by 32 base plate with a different building and a different princess living in each one. Obviously, it's supposed to be a movie set. So if you can name them as we go for it. I don't know a single princess, but I know that they are all there because I overheard somebody speaking to a parent and they were saying what belonged to what. And I just, yeah, it is what it is with that. I'm not a fan of any of these films. I've not sat down and watched any of them. So I should be ashamed of myself, I know. But I do like the fact there is a Speed Champions Lamborghini outside that purple one. So that I do know that car, that is a custom vehicle. I know that much. And then I think that's Snow White. I think that is Snow White at the front. Now, moving on, oversized injection molds. They always look quite smart. And then you've got the oversized injection bits and pieces on that. And then you've got this cool thing where the trains are continuously going opposite directions. That looks really, really smart. So you've got the 4 tiers, I think, on that one. So you've got all the different types of trains that are going, so you can see how many of those are going. You've got the really nice Winter Village display up at the top. That's a really nice tier. That looked really, really smart. So again, we're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit because this is by far the busiest section. Like I said, this I was not expecting. This I thought was actually going to finish. I thought it would have finished about 20 minutes ago. I'm glad it didn't because there was so much things to see. But you got the big brick. I think you've got some rockets or pencils we're about to have a look at as well. And then as we pan round and down, there's going to be all sorts of different bits and pieces. Now, one of the amazing things that we will be having a look at sooner rather than later is actually the shadow box lit up. And my days, does it make a difference? It is absolutely stunning. So I am 100% going to be getting that set now. After I saw it at this convention and what it looks like lit up with the detail, seeing the detail properly, Lego website does not do it justice. Now there's another TARDIS. So Doctor Who is all over the place and there's loads and loads of hidden minifigures inside this building and dotted all over the place. This again was one huge display, this one. So this is a massive thing. So many trees, plants. You've obviously got the really, really nice road. You've got a load of CMF and custom minifigures dotted out the front. You've got these really, really nice spooky gates. There's just a lot going on with this. And again, this would be something that you would see at the Lego house along with this. Just something as simple, I say as simple as this. This is a very, very effective looking thing. So this is done, as you can see, just give it a pause, you can see who it's done by. And then as we're coming through, round and down, there is a sort of penny machine. So you could actually just put some pennies in there that were in a cup and you could just sort of play the game if you wanted to. And then you've got lots and lots of other different bits and detail going on of everything. So there's lots, some stores had one huge model, other stalls had lots of different models, and then others just had multi-layered cities. Now, I think those two figures were the original Fabuland. I think that was a little Easter egg to the original two sat on the park bench. I couldn't actually ask the person of the stall because I think they had just gone off, because a lot of people, obviously, you set up and you just leave it be. You just trust everybody to have a look at everything, and then you can just walk around, and obviously because there's so much to see yourself, you want to be having a look at it all. But this, again, massive. You've got all the houses and everything at the back. You've got the really, really nice trains. I like the little canal boat and everything in the corner. It's just effective. This is also still the same thing. You've got the different trains going both ways. Then you've got all this detail on this bridge edge as well. So you can see the helicopter. You've got all the roads, which you will take a better look at from a different angle. I think there's 2 subway trains in that depot as well, where the track goes to nowhere. And then you've got lots of people like the Batman, so that's all hidden underneath. You can see the Joker just in there. And you've got the sort of Batman, I think that Batman plinth is from the CMF minifigure that they stand on. And then you've got things like that with the really, really nice detail. You've got the gym on the right-hand side, the police station on the left, Hotel Boutique, and the bookshop as some of the modulars. Now, this was working when I went to leave. This I have seen on other videos before. It is just a massive machine of Technic where the balls and it splits the pieces up. Now, this teeny tiny little micro builds, lots of these little bits and pieces going on, and then we go into sort of like almost multiple tables of space. So I don't know if they're all from the same club or if they just happen to be grouped together, but we are going to have a lot of space themed stuff once we've obviously got past the Roadrunner stuff. That looked really, really cool. And then we've got some different tanks, and then it's going to be a lot of custom builds. You can see we've got lots and lots of tables to come, lots of different Star Wars, different bits and pieces. I think they're all custom colors as well. And you can see that I think this is on one of the turntables, so this thing just spins around. All of those, I think, are actual Star Wars sets, but I think they're custom. Correct me if I'm wrong, don't recognise them, but this is what they are. So you can see all of these. I don't know if they've actually just not been made yet, or I could be talking absolutely nonsense and it could just be a complete custom space thing. If that's the case, they look fantastic no matter what. As we're coming through, you've got all of these other little bits and pieces you can see from Bricking It over there, Jez Williams, and then you've got the smaller ones, and then more Star Wars ones, then you've got, I know that one's the X-Wing, so at least I can save myself on that one, and then you've got the Bomber, and then as we come through, you've got all the other bits and pieces. What I did like is how some stores had these sort of displays higher up and back down, so they weren't all on one level, and they did have a lot of things to read. So once I'd finished going round, I did stop off and read up on some of the different bits and pieces that I'd missed, but the stuff that I was reading on wouldn't help this video whatsoever. So it's useless information, but it's always nice to read all of it up. And then again, you've got some massive, massive things. Now, speaking to these guys, I do believe that they are, they've all built their own different bits and pieces, and then they did manage to get it all together. So that's another thing. So again, what we're looking at now is on multiple tables. It all flows, but I don't think it's just one person's display. And then this thing is pretty cool because it all works. So this is very, very effective. It's all done on a Technic controller, I think. So you can see how it spins around. Very, very kindly gave me a demonstration, which is really, really nice of him. And then you've got loads and loads of bits and pieces going on with all the different minifigures. Lots and lots of teal. That was the theme on this, and I liked it. I liked the fact that it had its own theme. Everything was more teal and much brighter than normal. And you have got some hidden CMF Easter eggs in there as well. I think I did see just a Muppets character in that, so that's always a good little bit of fun. And then, oh, there you go, Teal Squadron. So that basically sums that up. Pause it for that, get the QR code. And then we got really, really nice tree. Loads and loads of detail going on with this. And you can see you've got some really nice minifigures hidden all within this one. So it's a beautiful looking thing. Really, really nice, vibrant colours as well, which is always nice to see. We like to see that kind of thing. And then as we come round and pan through, we have got some more bits and pieces. So Bionicle, but that was done in a different way. And again, you can see just where those people are. This massive. Look at the size of that. There was a lot going on the inside, but I couldn't stop for too long, which is a little bit of a shame. So again, you might have to pause it and zoom in on that one. There was something going on in each window. This was moving, so that reversed off the deck. It moved all the way up, and then moved all the way back down again. And then I think what we're about to do is we're about to turn around and have a look at what is the longest display of a load of balls and marbles flying around, which sounds, well, it sounds as good as what it sounds like. So when we have had a quick look at these models, and obviously you can see you've got some really nice big space bits. If I was to carry on walking down a straight line, that's where you can sit down, and then you can obviously just grab you can just basically eat and drink in that area if you just wanted to rest your legs. Or you can just carry on. So this is what this is. So we are starting at the beginning, which is here. So the balls get fed through to the table on the left, which is what we'll see last. And then you basically follow your balls. And then it comes all the way up, round and down. Yes, it did sound as bad as what I didn't mean it to sound like that, but Like I said, this is just going to be done in one take. So follow your balls all the way around. They will play catch up with us. They do go over this blue bit, and then you see them shooting. There it is. There's a ball flying about, and then there's loads of them. So there's balls absolutely everywhere. It gets worse, and then as we come through, you've got the scoop, flips it over. Now there was a question about the balls of who took what balls home. Apparently, the different members of staff had different coloured balls. So you can see there's a blue and orange and white one and yellow, and then they just took their own colours back with them because there are loads and loads of, sorry, I'm such a child. As we come through, it is one huge Technic display. So each one of these, on a serious note, is all connected, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as well. So as it comes round, it gets more and more technical, and you can see how it goes up the chute. And then you just end up basically picking a colour, which is nice that they are different colours, so you can just follow one all the way round. And then you've got, I've not seen that element before. The pink I've never seen before. So if you know what that's from, then obviously please do let me know. It did look very similar to what you would have in like a hamster cage, which again works. So if that is what it's from, then absolutely perfect. But it does give you an idea of what you can do. Then you've got this big thing here, so I think we follow a ball up, and then I lose it because it just shoots straight through the blue chute. So there it is, it's gone. So it spins round that really, really, really quickly, and then it moves on to the next thing. So I've got rid of my giggles now, so I'm back with it. So as we're coming up and down, you can see there is an actual football in that as well, so you want to try and follow that one. And then you've got the bright yellow, the bright orange, and then as it comes up, they then sort of slow themselves down again. But it is clever, because as you go through on the next couple of tables, you can see you've got all of these different bits. We've not missed anything. I've just skipped the person that was taking a load of photos. So it then, some of them slow down, some of them speed up, and it's just amazing how it just connects all the way through. So it is huge. It's just in the sort of the middle of the room. I would imagine, well, it's only 2 people, I do believe, and there was only 2 people in there anyway, so I'm assuming that they both built loads of different bits and pieces and they just got it connecting. But you've got to remember that these Lego Technic pieces are just plastic cogs, and they are on all day. It is a credit to them. So this is the feeder. So there's a little in here with the remote control car. You can see where it shoots down, and then it goes into that grabber, and then it shoots them off, and then off we go to where we were stood on the other side. Right, that is the balls over and done with. Onto the train. So loads and loads of tables of trains all the way down, full length of the room on this side now. It's all different Lego clubs of trains. Some, well, all of them. In all fairness, every single one of them is absolutely outstanding. Some had, I think, official old school Lego trains, and lots of them obviously had the custom ones as well. So if you are a train fanatic and you're an enthusiast, pause it and let me know what one it is what and what they are supposed to be, because I have no idea. When it comes to cars, I can tell you them, absolutely no problem. When it comes to the trains, I appreciate them and I like the fact that they are all there, but it's wasted on me with regards to the older steam trains, which is a bit of a shame because they are very, very important and they are very, very pretty as well. Now, with regards to the track, you can see how they've done that with the tan going across, so it sort of makes it a little bit brighter, makes it a bit more old school. But look at all the texture and everything on the outside. You've got all the flowers, you've got everything dotted up on that. Then you've got a nice row of all the different vehicles and the huts and houses, and then you got up into the farmers section, which again, just how they've added in the tractor with the brown with the green just looks fantastic. It's just, you look at it and go, oh yeah, that's really simple. You try and do it, it would take you hours to try and get that right. It's all well and good once somebody's done it, but this is the Brick End Railway. It's always well and good to try and copy somebody else's or obviously tweak it to your own bit, but it is just the hours they would have spent doing on that. So that is the one table, and now we're on the LSUR table. Now I do follow some of these guys on Instagram already, and they did post some pictures up which I've seen already of some of the other displays. So again, hunt them down on social media because they have incredible size displays. I mean, just look at it. Again, you can see the Lambo. That Speed Champions Lambo is very, very popular. I can tell you the car, I can tell you the James Bond car in the background, and the old school vintage ones at the back as well. That looks like that one might be one from the old Postman. There is the ice cream van, and then there's some more vintage ones. The trains, again, I couldn't tell you what was about to come around the tracks, but it's green and it looks very impressive indeed. Now, what I did like, and to be honest, I would buy, is if they released a Thomas the Tank Engine range. I think that would be amazing. Now, the fact that Thomas Land has opened up as a theme park, it would be interesting if Lego got the license, because there were so many different train enthusiasts had done custom Thomases and all of the others. I think they could sell quite well, because they wouldn't have to be massively expensive, because you wouldn't need to come with the track. But anyway, I'm waffling. So again, loads of trains, loads of different bits and pieces. I like the fact that they have done this Vesta. Now, if you don't know what that is a massive fan set. So it's a big turbine blade. And I like the fact that they had customized it on their own, and it was in transportation. And I also like all of these different bits and pieces, where they've got the big books, and then they've got all sorts of different bits and pieces going on with regards to this stuff on the display. So they're all pop-up books. You can see the pigs, you've got the sheep, you've got, I think there's some toilets somewhere. And then we are now at the charity event. Now, what I did with this, it was £3. You won a prize every single time. Now, because I'm nice, I gave them £5, and I said to the person, give it to somebody that can't afford it, or if they've got one too many children, so at least that way the charity still gets the money and the little ones go home happy. So don't forget, it's all about passing it forward as well. So fingers crossed that did happen. But there are your selection of minifigures that you could have won. So if you were to win, that's the minifigures that you would have got, and obviously the bigger prizes were the actual boxes. Now, I do recognise that. I want to say that is the mine train from the Disney ride, I think. That I don't recognise, but it does. I think it says something about the Titanic, so I think it says raise the Titanic. But that did look really, really clever, because obviously it was all in the brain. It looked very, very smart. Now, these are the BattleBots. So they put on 3 performances, and I will believe they're going to be doing this on the Saturday and the Sunday. And they just ended up beating each other up and breaking each other's bricks. So that was that. Now this, oh, look at it. This is the back shadow box. Yes, that shadow box that looks awful when it's closed and you can't see anything when it's open. You can. Get it lit up. Look how nice this looks. This, for me, is now definite purchase. It looks brilliant. There's so much detail looking at this that I had no idea it was in this. I have looked at this set so many times. The guy said it took him forever to wire up. So obviously I'm not going to do it. But at least if I know if I add some lights to it, or just either LED strips or something, it will work. But it looks so, so good. And I love the lighting behind the bat symbol. And then on this side, again, it's just big bits and pieces. It can be quite fragile, apparently. So there are little bits and pieces that will end up getting knocked off. So obviously with the amount of stuff that I move, it's going to get broken and it's going to get smashed. Right, we have got less than 8 minutes left. We have just broken the hour mark. Now, this is another really nice thing, because these guys here and the people that were doing the shadow box, really nice to speak to, were testing the lights, basically, and they had been on all day Thursday, all day Friday, and all day Saturday, and not a single light had blown. So that is a massive, massive effort by the company that produces those. And talking of massive effort, I really did like this. Now, obviously, this is an oversized visitor centre from the Jurassic Park original films. You've got the 2 cars out the front, but they've added in the ride at the back, which looks really, really nice with the Dr. DNA. And then you've got a little bit of the museum bit, and then obviously they've added in the famous ice cream bit on there. So that looked very, very smart. Now, again, coming back over to the train section. So we're coming through and just walking back up. It's amazing because you can walk down it and it'll be absolutely packed. And that's the Lego City crane. And then that is the pickup truck. You've got all the construction workers and everything at the back there, all buyable. These are all custom. Look brilliant. And again, you can get the parts online if you wanted to, and I think you can actually get custom stickers for a lot of them, because I have seen them online and they do look very, very good. But on the way down it took a while, but on the way back up there was nobody stood there. So again, you just got to take your time. If you, again, Star Wars, this is for you. Pay attention. You've got lots of different size scale and models to have a look at, and they all look really good. Now, what I liked about this stand, again, it had loads of did you see different bits and pieces, and it clearly explained what everything was. You can see CP30, R2-D2 on the background, not the actual thing, the actual artwork. And then you've got just these really nice displays that I've never seen before in that scale. I think that looks very, very smart. I think you're going to know what that scene is from. I think that looks nice. And then obviously you've got the Boba Fett just in there. And then you've got the Leicester Square thing that we're about to move on to. So it's just nice, different bits and pieces which just look super, super effective. So A massive credit to the gentleman that put this together, or the team that put this together. Just because there's one person stood behind it doesn't mean that there's multiple people that don't put this together. But these size figures look brilliant. Obviously, there's lots and lots of bricks involved, and it's a huge amount of time. And then you've got the Joker, which I really, really like. And then you've got the orange Spaceman as well. So he was the limited edition for a while. And then you've got the green one, which again is really, really hard to find as well. Then you've got Superman, and then you have... I think that's just going to be a generic robber, but you've got the dynamite and the 100 bill behind him. Then you've got the golden one, and then there's a stack of minifigures just behind, which again looks really, really effective. And then we move on to something that is teeny tiny. So you can see you've got all sorts of different bits and pieces. So you've got, not 100% sure what that is to do with, because I couldn't see any of the artwork on it. I'm not too sure if they're just in the process of setting up or moving some bits and pieces around, but it looked very, very good. Now, I think this is the second Duplo one, so there's not much Duplo on display, but it did look super effective, and obviously it's larger size bits and pieces. The colours from the Duplo sets are very, very powerful, but they've mixed in the Duplo with the Lego minifigures, which looks really, really effective, and of course they do that at the Lego house. Now, this, I think, was one of the larger displays there. Now, what they had done is they had just put a green sheet down, they put the base plates over where they needed to add the detail, and the rest of it, they just left it be as the grass, which I think looks very, very effective. Otherwise, you're going to have to add tens of thousands of tiles and waste loads of time and money on something I don't really think is needed. I think the detail is where the detail needs to be. I think everybody else will agree with that, and it looks brilliant. Look at the size of this. So we look at it from all different angles. You've got the couple of different bits and pieces on the inside. It is just massive. So obviously it's just all the detail is actually within the castle, not so much the castle grounds. This, I think, is the best bit for me, with just the lights and everybody just walking around the path. That is where the most detail is on this side. And then you've got some more detail on the side of it as well, that you can actually look into. So like I said, what I mean is the details actually in the castle, not so much on the actual castle floor and the castle grounds. Now, if you I'm not too sure if that is the original or if that was the giveaway purchase, but lots of people went absolutely loopy for that. So if you did manage to pick that one up and you've got that one in your collection, well done. I did not see one of those actually for sale, so I would imagine they went very, very quickly. This is what I mean. So here we go. That's where all the detail needs to be. Lots of it to have a look at. Take all your photos of that. Bits and pieces are moving. Loads of lights. Looks really, really smart. We are about to, I think, skip on to the next bit. So now we are moving on to the Only Fools and Horses section. So we have got all sorts of different bits and pieces. I know there's a few of you that like Only Fools and Horses. So if you just suddenly perked up and started to look at the telly again, skip it back, because they are all different 16 by 16s and some 16 by 32 base plates of all of the different famous scenes that they've got. And obviously they've added all the custom minifigures as well, which looks beautiful. And then you've got this really nice train as the backdrop, and then you've got the fire set and some other little bits and pieces as well. So again, it all merges in. That is the Easter egg to the Lego duck, and then you also had the larger minifigure from the Lego house. Now, this is a nice little sweet thing. So you've got all different scenes from the Iron Man films. So you've got Iron Man 1, obviously that's still Iron Man 1, and then I think this is Iron Man 2, where you've got War Machine in the park, and you've got the nice little trees with a little bit of water on a I think that's a 32 by 32 base plate that is on, so that, again, that looks smart. Then you've got the road plate with the Hulkbuster, and then you've got the Lego City Bank car, and then the 007 James Bond vehicle, and that is the other car, I think, comes with the street scene, and that's obviously fighting the Hulk. That I like how people managed to do that with regards to putting the water effects on the tiles. I think that does look really, really smart. And then you've got the oversized Hall of Armor, where you've got all of the different Iron Man figures with all the different bits and pieces, and you've got the custom hot rod and the other cars as well. So again, nice little collection, that one, and it carries on going with all of these pieces in here. So loads and loads of Iron Men that you can get. Didn't realise there were so many. So if you have got a lot of those, then obviously good for you. But right, we are running out of time. Guys, so if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you stuck with me for the last hour or so, but this is what is to come. Oh my days, there are sets and minifigures absolutely everywhere. We've got to go through all of this. I will link this video that we're about, what you're looking at now, to the end of this one, so you can watch them both back to back or when it gets uploaded. But I have never seen so many minifigures in one room ever. So if you're a fan of minifigures, you're going to really, really like the next upload. But in the comments below, let me know if you were there. Let me know if you showed off your different bits and pieces. There's just a lot to come. We've obviously already seen a lot. That's why I've had to split it up into 2 separate videos, because there's just so much to see. This is just scratching the surface of the stuff that is to be seen with regards to the minifigures and all of the sets and things like that as well. So we are very much spoilt with regards to what is to come. But guys, I'll say it again, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let us know what your favourite stand was, your favourite stall, and if I missed you, then I really do apologise, but I think I managed to catch everything that was there. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll see you next one. Ta-da.